Chuckload of Comics is brought to you by Cold War Games, creators of Squarriors, Fight Your Friends, and Lady Death Last Stand. For more information, visit coldwar.us.
So guys, in comic book news, DC Detective Comics, right on the heels of their announcement of canceling the Vertigo line of comic books, which shocked people last week, they announced this week a new line of comic books. It's going to be sort of a pop-up line of horror-based comic books called Hill House Comics.
I love it.
The project is going to be headed up by Joe Hill, the creator of Lock and Key. Joe Hill actually had an interview with Entertainment Weekly. Kind of broke. He really loved this interview, what he said. Joe Hill talked to EW and said, "I've always been a comic book writer first. When I started writing comics, I felt almost instantly that I had discovered my element. It was the version of writing I liked best. I felt when I worked in comics that my strengths were amplified, and the stuff I struggled with as a writer almost completely vanished." He said, "Working on Lock and Key was one of the most satisfying creative experiences of my life."
Wow.
If you guys haven't read Lock and Key by Joe Hill,
it's great.
It's a classic. It's an instant classic. Gabriel Rodriguez, I think, was the artist. You got to check out Lock and Key because that show's coming out on Netflix.
Yes.
Pretty soon.
Oh my gosh.
So basically what they're going to do, they're launching 5 limited series comic books to kind of launch this Hill House thing. We're going to break down all 5 of them so you kind of know what to expect when this thing launches. The first one is called Basket Full of Heads.
Great title.
This Basket Full of Heads, this one's actually written by Joe Hill himself, which is great. The story Basket Full of Heads, it starts with a young couple house-sitting in a New England mansion filled with Viking artifacts, coins, shields, axes. When a storm hits and brings with it some home invaders, a fight ensues, and the girl in the story reaches for the Viking axe, which we find out has supernatural powers. Not only does this axe lop off a head in a single stroke, but then the heads keep talking. Cue the talking heads music.
Talking heads.
So the heads start stacking up, and each of them tell their own version of what they've done and how they had, why they had to do what they had to do. All right, kill the talking heads music. This is cool. This feels very much like a Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah.
A bunch of talking heads in a basket explaining their story. I assume each issue is going to be maybe a head telling a different story.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All from the brain of Joe Hill.
He said he's been working on this concept for a while, and he didn't know whether to put it into a book or a short story, and he's going to put it into a comic. Very excited about Basket Full of Heads.
Oh my gosh.
The next one is called The Dollhouse Family. This one's written by Mike Carey and illustrated by Peter Gross. The Dollhouse Family, they're going to be exploring the life of Alice, who was gifted a big, beautiful dollhouse as a child, filled with a magical family of dolls. As she gets older, Alice returns to the dollhouse with some unexpected results. So that's pretty nice. A bunch of talking magical dolls and a creepy old dog. You mix kids and creepy dolls, I'm in.
Yeah, exactly.
You got me. And it's perfect for comic book writing.
Oh my gosh.
The next one's called Lola Woods. This one is written by Carmen Maria Machado. Lola Woods is the story about a Pennsylvania mining town afflicted by a mysterious plague that eats people's memories.
What?
Isn't that weird?
Oh my gosh.
A lot of New England-based stuff going on here. You got Pennsylvania.
Gee, come on.
The Kings and the Hill family love their New England stories.
Absolutely.
Basket Full of Heads. This takes place in New England.
Of course.
So that's Lola Woods. The next one is called Daphne Burn. It is written by Laura Marks and illustrated by Kelly Jones. Daphne Burn. Love this concept. It's set in gaslight 1800s New York.
Oh, cool.
Think like Gangs of New York. I love those time period pieces.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be great.
The character Daphne Burn discovers she has a strange, insidious entity living within her body. I'm excited about this one because I like that time period. You know, kind of gaslight streets of New York, very Gangs of New York-y.
The illustration in this book's going to be great.
I know. God, I can't wait. Well, the final one is a book called Plunge. This one is also going to be written by Joe Hill. They haven't announced who the artist is going to be for this one yet, but it's written by Joe Hill, so you know it's going to be good. This one's really neat. So basically, The Plunge, back in the 80s, a highly advanced research vessel went missing near the Arctic Circle, only to suddenly reappear 40 years later, and now it's sending a distress signal. So this research vessel went missing. Nobody knew where it was. 40 years later, it just magically reappears and starts sending out this distress signal. Well, a team of American researchers is sent to salvage the vessel, and what they find, they find there's oil on this ship. The oil has very unusual properties. And when the men who were on the original research vessel, they emerge from the island caves where I guess they've been kind of hiding out, their eyes have been eaten away.
Ew.
They haven't aged a day in 40 years, and they're capable of performing unfathomable mathematical feats. What does that sound like to you, Shauna? Sounds like aliens to me, right?
Right?
I mean, they haven't aged in 40 years.
crazy.
Their eyes have been eaten away for some reason, and they got
Wow.
like mathematical super knowledge.
Oh, I can't wait for these
Sounds
books.
very fire in the sky
Right?
to me.
So all these books are going to be mini-series, right? You said
Yes.
they're like short
It's
synopsis.
going to be 5 limited series that kind of launch
Perfect. I
Hill
love
House
it.
Comics in
Because
DC.
that tells me they have a start and a finish, like in mind.
Yes.
All the writer. That's perfect.
I mean, Joe
love
Hill's
it.
known for doing short stories.
Right.
I mean, he also is a novelist, but some of his best books are actually collections of short stories.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited about this.
I know. This is gonna be
Basket full of
great.
heads, the Dollhouse Family, Lola Woods, Daphne Burn, and Plunge. Check it out, guys. There's more information online. You can do your
Yeah.
research on Hill House Comics. And, of course, Joe Hill. Follow him all over social media. He's dropping all kinds of little nerd nuggets
So
about this upcoming thing. So,
cool.
Joe Hill, man, it's Joe Hill's world right now, man.
I know, right?
We're
You
just
got
all living in it.
Nosferatu on TV and AMC.
Lock and Key.
Ugh.
Crushing it at DC. He's now like taking over
Right?
DC Comics. My God, what a time to be Joe Hill.
I am so excited for this Hill House series. I want to see like Cullen Bunn do a story and
Good
like
call.
all these horror like comic writers. Oh,
Jeff
I can't wait.
Lemire,
Freaking
Cullen
Donny
Bunn,
Cates.
Donnie Cates
I
can
know,
write some really
like-
awesome horror comics.
It's just
Joe,
so excited.
listen to what we're saying, man. Get Cullen Bunn
Definitely
on
get
board.
Cullen Bunn on board.
Amazing horror writer.
Yeah.
So, guys, our final story of the day. Good friend of the Chuckload of Comics show, Mr. Paul Tiberius Rudd,
Of course.
loves our show. I was talking to him the other day on the phone. He
Yeah.
said he's never missed an episode of Chuckload of Comics.
Why would you?
I mean, who does?
Yeah.
Well, apparently, Paul Rudd doesn't.